Responses. The member for Scarborough-Guildwood.
Thank you, Speaker. I am honoured to rise today to speak on behalf of International Women's Day and to represent my Liberal caucus, where women are the majority in our caucus, and it does make a difference to having that voice, that strong female voice at the table. Also, as a party where we saw Ontario elect the first female premier in its history under the leadership of Kathleen Wynne. 1 year ago, on March 6, 2018, Ontario became the first province to tackle pay transparency as part of a broad new strategy to advance women's economic empowerment and build fairer, better workplaces. Today, as we celebrate International Women's Day, we owe it to all of the women and girls in Ontario and to future generations to advance gender equality in this province. This year's theme, Think Equal, Build Smart, Innovate for Change, is a global call to action. It is therefore our duty as elected officials to advance gender equality and champion the rights of women and girls in this province. I am committed to supporting women and girls in a number of key areas and to creating an Ontario that is safe, just, and respectful for everyone. By building support for women's rights and participation across all levels of society, we owe it to our daughters and our future daughters to act just like the ancestors that acted for us over 100 years ago. Today in Canada, women earn about 71 cents for every dollar that men earn. Here in Ontario, women continue to face discrimination or unconscious bias in hiring, promotion, compensation practices. This requires a transformative shift and bold action. On a day like today, the eve of International Women's Day, we cannot forget that 54% of employers have gender pay gaps contrary to the Pay Equity Act. On a day like today, we have a duty to ensure that female earners across this province are supported and listened to. Speaker, I have been listening. I hear the voices loud and clear. The time for pay transparency is now. The Pay Transparency Act was passed in April of 2018 and was scheduled to come into force on January 1st, 2019. What happened? Well, under the Conservative Bill 57, this will not happen. And why is that? As a woman, I cannot sit idly by and wait while this government places women's issues on the back burner. Women in this province need more information when negotiating compensation. The Pay Transparency Act will not only provide women with economic security, but it will also improve women's lifetime chances and their earnings potential. Many groups like the Equal Pay Coalition have fought for many years for equal pay for equal work, and the fight continues. Equal pay for equal work. 3 years ago, on International Women's Day, Ontario pledged to end sexual violence and harassment by releasing its 3-year $41 million action plan to stop sexual violence and harassment, entitled It's Never Okay. You might remember the award-winning promotion that went with that. Our last budget committed $4 million to the 42 sexual assault centres across this province because it is needed. 176 people are on the wait list at Waterloo Region's Sexual Assault Centre while this funding is being slashed. This government has reduced this $4 million commitment to just $1 million. The Toronto Rape Crisis Centre says that funding from this province falls well short. Today, we must not only recognize the barriers that women face, but we must also celebrate their achievements, the achievements of women who have overcome these barriers. I'm very glad that the minister mentioned Viola Desmond and the fact that she stood on principle, and a law that was in place was a wrong law and needed to be changed. And today, she graces our $10 bill. Let's build a gender-balanced world. We need to reduce poverty among women, broaden gender diversity in positions of leadership, and work together to ensure that no woman is left behind. There should be no limits to what any young girl or woman can do with her life. Empowering women and girls moves us all forward. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you, Speaker.